Thank you everybody to join in this masterclass and webinar. Today, we're gonna see amazing, valuable information. If you are an investor from other places in the world and are curious about the real estate investing in Mexico, today you're gonna learn a lot. And trust me, this information could bring you a lot of joy, a lot of freedom, and also a piece of paradise. Okay, so let's start. Today, I want to explain you how you can actually invest safely and profitable here in the Riviera Maya. As you might know, Riviera Maya is a place that is actually in the eyes of the world. Everybody's looking to here, and it's people from everywhere in the world. We are actually one of the fastest growing destinations, not only in Mexico, but also in the complete world. So let me tell you a little bit about me. My name is Fernando Córdova. I've been doing real estate for the last 7 years in my career, and not only with real estate, selling real estate, I am also an investor. I've been doing strategies such as long-term rental, short-term rental, flipping, wholesaling. So I know pretty much a lot in these strategies that we are going to share with you today. And most of my clients are actually from Canada and United States. So I've been helping Canadians and Americans to invest in Mexico safely for the last 5 years. So trust me, I know what are your fears, what are the actual mistakes that people are doing when they are not professionals or they don't know the market. I am an owner, proudly owner of 15 properties over all Mexico, and I will tell you my mistakes and my wins. So from that perspective, I will tell you my passion is to actually help foreigners to achieve profitable investments in Mexico, and especially here in Riviera Maya, combining deep market knowledge with hands-on investor perspective. All right, so I want to tell you, so first of all, investing in Riviera Maya is there's no mistake in terms of what you will get. So buying here, you're gonna have, first of all, a real paradise. We have one of the best, the most beautiful beaches in the world are right here in Riviera Maya. We have a lot of cultural, we have a lot of tradition. So this is what you're gonna learn in this webinar, and also how to safely invest here. So by the end of this webinar, you will exactly know what are the process, what are the mistakes people are doing, and how you can avoid them, specifically to invest here and make some profit. So to start, what is going on in Mexico, talking about Mexico as a country. So basically, it's a new frontier for international investors, and not only about the beautiful beaches, and also about the, you have a very good and an amazing lifestyle. So specifically for foreign investor, what is going on in all the world? So you go to New York, you go to Toronto, you go to Vancouver, major cities. For example, in Toronto, the average property is $1.2 million. That property is not a huge property, it's basically an average property with an average ROI of 3.2%. That means if you put $1.2 million, you're gonna receive only 3.2% every year out of your investment. Plus, you need to take out a lot of the property taxes, a lot of the expenses, which are actually gonna break your bank and take all of your profits. So what's going on in Mexico? Why Mexico? Climate advantage. We have amazing weather all year long. Even if you are in Canada experiencing a minus 30 degrees Celsius winter, you can come here in January, same day, and you're gonna be 30 degrees Celsius and enjoy a sunshine year round. Now, we have financial benefit. As you might know, $1 is gonna give you almost 20 pesos, 1 American dollar. If you are in Canadian dollars, it's gonna give you 15 pesos. So the exchange rate is gonna give you a way great advantage to invest here in Mexico. Accessibility, we are only 4 or 5 hours distance from major cities like New York, Toronto. We have 180 days tourist stays as a resident, so people are not coming only here to vacation. They are staying here and they are loving it. Mexico booming tourist economy. Mexico received 45 million visitors in the last year. And over those 45 million visitors, guess what? 34 million visitors stayed in Riviera Maya. So why Riviera Maya? What is going on and why should you invest here? If we put a perspective on the map of Mexico, you will see that there are many states. And let me tell you, Quintana Roo, which is the Riviera Maya state, is on the #1 place in yearly appreciation We are currently having a 13.5 percent appreciation in the market. That's average in the whole state of Quintana Roo. So this is, of course, attracting millions of visitors, millions of investors, not only real estate, are coming to put their money here. And of course, having all of these tourist affluence to this place, we are having also amazing infrastructure projects, such as you might know, the Maya Train, which is actually connecting the whole peninsula de Yucatan, connecting over 1,600 kilometers of railroad network. So if you can see what is going on in Riviera Maya, we have three major cities, which is Cancun, Playa del Carmen, and Tulum. In these three cities, we are receiving most of the tourists that comes. However, there are also very interesting emerging spots in Riviera Maya, such as Bacalar, the beautiful lagoon, Mahahual, a really nice beach town, and Holbox. Those are the three major emerging towns in Mexico and Riviera Maya specifically. So all of this infrastructure is actually creating a massive growth. As well, we have the Tulum International Airport, which has been 1 year operating, and it has a capability of 5.5 million visitors every year. And just to give you a perspective, Tulum received 2.5 million visitors in the previous year, so we have more than double of the possibilities of this new airport to host. Now, something interesting about the airport is that it has 28 hangars for private jets. That will give you a very interesting perspective on how's the market performing and where are we going to the luxury and ultra luxury market. Plus, having a lot of investments from all around the world, we are having $11.8 billion on foreign investments here in Quintana Roo. So if that's not enough, we have a very amazing lifestyle benefits, such the weather that we already talked. This is a digital nomad paradise, so if you are working remotely, you should not be spending thousands and thousands of dollars in a lifestyle in United States or in America or in Canada or in Europe, wherever you are, because here you can do it with only a fraction of that cost. Plus, we have cultural richnesses and, of course, all of the natural beauties that we have. We have also the ancient wonders, such as the pyramids, which we have one of the 7 world wonders right here, 1 hour away. We have mystical cenotes, stunning beaches, world-renowned white sand beaches with crystal clear water. And, of course, we have the vibrant nightlife, which is going to give you a lot of fun to stay here in the Riviera Maya. Okay, so that's about a little bit of the introduction. Now, let's get into the conversation of the real estate investment. So you as an investor, you need to know that there are different ways to acquire real estate. Some of the investor might say you cannot own a property as a foreigner in Riviera Maya, and that's a little bit of true. So I'm going to explain the process on how you can get benefit of this. And remember, you can also download my free guide where you're going to have all of this information and you can have it whenever you want. So first of all, you need to know what are your goals. So think about it. Okay, you want a property in Riviera Maya. Why? Is it because of investment? You want to have some rental income, or you want to just have some appreciation and get capital gains in the future? Or you just want your second home? Probably you're gonna need a place just to stay here whenever you're coming in the winter and you don't want anybody to mess with your property. That's okay. We need to set those clear goals. Once we have that, once we know the budget, the goals, once we know your requirements, then we're gonna do a tailored assessment. Based on your criteria, based on your goals, we're gonna create a tailored solution for you. So after we find this perfect property for you, we're gonna start the process. The process is as follows. Once we have the property, we're gonna sign an offer. This is very similar to United States and Canada. We're gonna have an offer. If we have the offer approved and accepted by the seller, at that point, we're gonna start 2 things. The due diligence, which is gonna have, we're gonna ensure with the lawyer that the property has no liens, that the owner is actually the owner on the title, that we are gonna have all of the permits, construction permits, everything that could be a risk on your investment, we're gonna check that out. We have a cooling period of 15 days, or could be more, where we're gonna ensure all of this. And also the financing approval, if you need approval for financing or a mortgage, which we have mortgage, I will tell you a little bit more about that. So we have this period until we say everything is good. We have the lawyer approval and we have the financing approval, at that point, we make the next step, which the next step will be to pay the down payment and to sign the promissory agreement of sale, purchase and sale. At this point, you are actually securing a property in Mexico. So it depends if you're buying a pre-construction property or a ready-to-deliver or resale property. The process might differ a little bit. However, for the education purposes, we're gonna say that this is a resale property ready to deliver. So once you have your permit approval, like your financing and your lawyer approval, we're gonna find out that we have already the sale agreement signed and the down payment paid. After that, we're gonna go with the notary. In this process, as a foreigner, you need to know that there's something that is called the restricted area. That means 50 kilometers from the coast and 100 kilometers from the borders, a foreigner cannot directly own a property in Mexico. So how does all the foreigners do it? Okay, we have two alternatives. Number one, fideicomiso, which is a bank trust. Number two, create a Mexican corporation. At this point, we're gonna be already working with the lawyers and they're gonna do all of this. You don't need to worry about anything. You only need to provide all of your documents and be on the same page of what are we doing. So the fideicomiso is the best way to do it if you are only buying one property. If you are buying more than three, the corporation might be a good idea as well. So the bank trust will last for 50 years. It will give you the possibility to do everything with your property. You are the owner, you can rent it, you can sell it, you can pass it, you can use it, you can do exactly the same. It's just one more paper in between, and it has a cost of $2,000 approximately, and every year you need to pay $400 to the bank to maintain it. If tomorrow you say, okay, I'm selling the property, nothing happens, you cancel your trust, and then the new owner will hold the property. So now if you decide to go to the Mexican corporation, I need to tell you this is gonna be more expensive because you need to pay a lawyer, you need to pay an accountant monthly, and that's gonna create more expenses. So if you're doing business in Mexico and you're having more than 3 properties, a corporation might be the way. If not, let's stay with the fideicomiso. Most of my clients say, okay, I need to bring cash to pay a property in Mexico. And let me tell you, that was true a little bit some years ago. However, we have amazing financing opportunities to invest here in Mexico. One of these options would be to go with an American or Canadian bank or institution which is going to provide you with a loan to invest in Mexico. The best alternative is to get a HELOC, home equity line of credit, which will give you the interest rate from Canada or United States to invest in Mexico. Once you have that money here, we can go with a seller and make an aggressive offer. And trust me, right now is the best time to do aggressive offers because we are in a buyer's market, and that is the best time for investors to buy discounted properties. We also have some RRSP loans, which are backed on your retirement account. And there are many, many options. In Mexico, we can also have you get you a mortgage with a Mexican bank. The thing here is the interest rate in Mexico is way higher. We're talking 10 to 11% interest rate, and that will probably knock out your positive cash flow strategy where you're trying to do rentals. The good thing is that this loan to value is up to 85%. So that means you only need 15% as a down payment, and the rest, the bank will give it to you. So the good thing also about the Mexican mortgage is that you have up to 20 years and it's open mortgage. That means you can pay it off whenever you want. If you have some extra money, you can put it to the capital and avoid paying a lot of interest. Also, beside these options, we will have also incredible seller finance opportunities. That means no credit report, no income status, no income proof, directly with the seller, no proof of anything. And these loans might be around 6 to 7 years, depending on the developer or the seller, but those are very creative ways of investing as well. If you are trying to do this, make sure that you are working with a professional realtor that will tell you who are the very good and the reputable developers, which you might know, and this is not only in Mexico, but we have some horror stories about people investing and they are not receiving their properties. So especially when you are working in pre-construction, you gotta be really, really cautious about who are you dealing with, get some resources, go ask previous developers, developments of this developer, ask to the neighbor how they're feeling, what are the quality status of the properties, go ask, don't stay there. And even more, if you are not in Mexico, you need to rely always in professionals, professional realtor, professional attorney. Never go solo. That is very, very important. Okay, so now you know, all right, I know what's more likely the process. What can I do next? Okay, so first of all, we need to start from the beginning. What is your goals? For this, I'm having here a very interesting way of discovering what kind of investor are you. So I have these three investor personas. These three investors are actually having different goals. Number one, Snowbird Sam. Snowbird Sam, he's a Canadian retired. He uses the property probably 2 or 3 months of the year. He wants convenience, he wants community, and he needs supplemental rental income. So he want to have a short-term rental business, Airbnb, when he's not using the property. And the best thing is the property is going to be right there, ready for Snowbird Sam. Second investor, we have developer Dave. Dave is a long-term visionaire. He seeks emerging markets and he's comfortable without immediate income. So he don't really need to have this cash flow. He prefers to have capital appreciation in a near future. He likes to buy land for developing in a near future. Probably this land doesn't even have roads, but he's okay because he knows that the investment is on a long term. And then we have ROI Rachel. ROI Rachel, she's a mid-30s investor. She prioritizes returns and low involvement, and she might never visit the property at all. So she focuses on pre-construction and cash flow ready deals. So based on these three personas, you gotta tell me, who are you? Who are you feeling identified with? So in terms of land, let's check it out. So we have land investment opportunities here in Riviera Maya, starting at $50,000, even less, for a 200 square meter lot, which is only 5 minutes from the beach. We have many options of land. The good thing about land is the high appreciation. We have up to 15% yearly appreciation in certain areas, and that will give you flexibility. Because let's say in 3 years or 5 years, which is the timeline for this investment, you can decide to just hold the land, okay? You buy and hold, and then in 5 years, you're gonna say, all right, I have made 80% of my money now. What should I do next? Okay, you can decide to sell the land and get your profit, or you can decide to build your dream house right there and live in there or rent it out, or you can decide to build it and sell it, and now you are a developer. So this is the kind of flexibility that the land will give you. Buy and hold, build and rent, build and sell, or just live in your personal paradise. So these exact kind of properties are for, as you might remember, Developer Dave. Developer Dave will get these kind of investments, and I'm gonna share with you one case study of land. This is in Playa del Carmen. This is a residential lot, which is actually in pre-construction. And let me tell you what I love about pre-construction projects in land. You're gonna have 100% of the appreciation only with investing a 20% down payment. So that's called leverage. And in real estate, you gotta leverage. That's what's gonna make you a lot of money. So in this example, we have this $71,000 lot with a payment scheme of only 20% down payment, 20% during construction, which is gonna, you need to pay like $400 a month, and you are receiving a lot of the 100% appreciation of the lot. So you need a down payment of $14,000 and a monthly payment of $400. With that, you are an investor and you are already having the profit and the benefits of investing in Riviera Maya. All right. Now, what about condos? I want a condo. Who is gonna have a condo? Okay, people that are actually looking for immediate income, like immediate cash flow via short-term rentals, or could be long-term rentals as well. You're gonna have low maintenance because you're gonna have a HOA that handles all of the repairs of the building. You don't need to worry about anything. And we have turnkey ready options, okay? This turnkey ready is ideal for foreign investors where you don't need to worry about anything. You don't need to worry about having the furnishing, having the people that is gonna take care of your place, because most of the projects or some of them will include an in-house property manager. So that means your apartment is gonna be running smoothly and profitably without you worrying at all. In these cases, we're gonna see prices for a two bathroom around $180,000, $190,000, which again, if you are buying in pre-construction, you don't need to pay it all right away. You can also leverage from a down payment and also a mortgage. So in this case, I have one example of a two-bedroom condo in Playa del Carmen, just 4 minutes from the beach with an amazing location, which is having a price point of $310,000. And in this case, the developer is gonna give you very different schemes depending on the down payment. For example, we have the entry point is 30% down payment, which is gonna give you the down payment of $93,000. With this, you are already securing the unit. You are just gonna wait until them to build this unit, and of course, the appreciation is gonna be on all the way. During the construction, there are some projects that they're gonna ask you for payments. There are some other projects that are gonna ask you to just pay off once they deliver. That all depends on your goals. So we need to set out clearly goals and clearly requirements and see what can you afford in terms of budget, in terms of down payment available, in terms of monthly payments you have available. That will dictate what properties are we gonna promote and recommend to you. Okay, so at the moment you have the unit delivery, you're gonna start having cash flow. Cash flow via short-term rentals in this particular example, which we're having actually a very interesting example of how is the income for short-term rental business is gonna work. For example, in this case, we have a one-bedroom apartment, which is charging $85 a night, okay? Having a total income of $2,100 a month, considering a 67 occupancy rate, okay? So in this example, after expenses, after paying HOA, which is $117, after paying the electricity, which is $250 every 2 months, after paying the water, $25, internet, $30, after that, we're gonna have an income of $18,000 per year, which is gonna give you well, that's the income after expenses, $4,000. You're gonna have an income of $14,000. That's equal 11% ROI. So this number is actually proven. We have projects that are actually doing every month a little bit even more than this. So these are real cases, and we can share with really pleasure most of the ideas on this. So what's going on? Some questions are like, all right, so who's gonna handle the property manager? As I told you, a lot of projects will offer in-house management. If they don't offer, nothing happens. We have the best property managers partnering with us, so you can have a solid, profitable, and very trustable business here in Mexico. And these professional people will ensure that you are having hands-off in the deal. They're gonna tell you, hey, okay, so here's your annual report or your monthly report, sorry. They're gonna tell you this is the income, this is who stayed in your apartment, that was the actually occupancy rate, that was the average daily rate, this is the expenses, and here's your money every month into your bank account, receiving income without doing anything. That's the magic of Riviera Maya. And now we are having also houses or villas. Villas investment, there's many, many advantages. Of course, you're gonna have a bigger property that will give you the possibility to host more people in your property. So premium rates, we're talking about between $240 to $350 a night for a regular villa. And then we have also the family appeal. And people don't think in families. They think it's all party in Riviera Maya, but no, we have a lot of people coming to establish with their families, so that will attract longer staying rentals as well. In a villa, you can have an standout listings. You are not competing with thousands of condos that are already in the market. Plus, you're gonna have a hybrid use where you can use the property and have also the rental income. So in this case, we have a very interesting example of a 3-bedroom house, which is located as well in Playa del Carmen. In this case, this is a pre-construction project, and the price of this house is $363,000 with a payment scheme, again, very interesting. Only 30% as a down payment, 30% during the construction, and 40% at the delivery. So here we have a very interesting case of a seller finance property. In this case, we're going to have up to 4 years of seller finance for the remaining 40%. So if you say, okay, I don't have an actual proof of income or my credit score is very bad, no worries. You only need the 30% as a down payment, which is going to be around $100,000, monthly payments of $5,000, and in 3 years, in 1 year and a half, you're going to have your property ready to start profiting. So those are kind of 3 very good examples of what's available in the market. As I mentioned, not only land, not only condos, houses, but there's more. I specialize myself in creative deals. So I will give you actually off-market deals. I'm going to give you fix and flips as well. There are some properties that are great options to do fix and flips. Wholesaling, you don't need to own the property to actually make money here in the Riviera Maya, and this is a strategy very common in the United States and Canada. So let's put it all right together. First of all, we need to set your goals. Set clear goals. What's the income you want? What's the appreciation you want? If it's for personal use, what is your actual idea with this property? Once you have that clear, okay, we need to make the timeline. Okay, so you have a short-term results, or you're gonna go on the long run. What is your timeline in this investment? And of course, we need to know your budget. What is the budget you feel comfortable investing here? I agree, it's always good to diversify, and Mexico is the best way to do it. Diversify your asset. Don't put all the eggs in the same basket. That will give you a better approach. And trust me, once you make the first investment in Mexico, in a couple of years, it's not gonna be only one. I'm sure about that. And then how involved do you want to be in this process? Do you want a hands-off deal, like you don't want to do anything? Or do you are more like you are a doer and you want to come here and maybe you want to be part of the furnishing, or maybe you want to be part of the short-term strategy? You also need to have that in mind, because that will depend what option is right for you. Okay? So now, in terms of next steps, I want to show you what is the process. We already talked about it. So in this case, if you say, all right, I really want to know about Mexican real estate, we have a program where we are going to pay for your flight to come and visit us and visit the properties and enjoy some days in the Caribbean. So if that's all you're interested in, you need to send me a DM and we will talk about that. Okay, so before doing that, we will need to have a one-on-one consultation for free, no commitment at all, and this is gonna give you a really good understanding of the market in Riviera Maya. After this, I'm gonna tell you, okay, based on your goals, based on your criteria, I think this is the right way to go. If you are having like if you don't know exactly what do you want, this assessment and this consultation will give you more clarity, trust me. So it all depends on what are your goals. And with this consultation, I'm going to help you to catch that goal. Then we're going to review some properties. Based on this assessment, we're going to tell you, okay, Mr. Investor, this is right for you. Option A, option B, option C. And based on your feedback, we are going to get a tailored, we are going to make an even more tighter research on what properties do you want. And then we're going to analyze the income potential for you. As an investor, I am number-based, so I'm going to tell you which is the property that's going to make you the most money, if that's your goal. If your goal is personal enjoyment, then that's up to you. The best property is the one that you're going to like the most. After analyzing the income potential, we're going to start your investment journey, having the lawyer in the table, having the financing in the table, and actually making research on the properties and visiting. The best way is to come. However, you don't need to come to start the process. The only moment when you need to be here in Mexico is at the moment you are doing the closing day. So if you remember from the offer, which is the very first starting point, all the way until the closing date, there are many, many steps. So as I was telling you, we have the cooling period where you're going to have the lawyer and the financing approving you. After this, we're gonna have the promissory agreement of purchase and sale. Then we're gonna have the fideicomiso, which is gonna last about 6 weeks to create. So this bank trust, once we have the bank trust ready, once we have the lawyer approval, once we have the documents in the right place, and once we have the money in the right place, then we are ready to go to the closing day. At that moment, we go together with the notary, you, the buyer, the seller or the developer, and the notary. We are gonna be there, and then together you're gonna sign your official deed, and at that point, you are an official owner in Mexico. So that's how it's working. We're gonna have all of this for you, and we're gonna have all of the tools that you're gonna need right here. You don't need to go anywhere else. Here we are in the one-stop shop for Riviera Maya, having professionals to support you and having a solid background. We have thousands of people that are already benefiting from the Riviera Maya market, and also in other parts of Mexico. We also work in Puerto Vallarta, we also work in Los Cabos, San Miguel de Allende, and especially in the touristic places right here in Mexico. So I have a couple of questions that are actually very, very common that people ask. So let me tell you, what kind of ROI can I expect from a property in Riviera Maya? The answer it's different because we have two strategies. We have the short-term rental strategy and we have the long-term rental strategy. Right now, the market, especially in Tulum, is not really the best. So if you're planning to do short-term rentals, you gotta think twice because might not be the best strategy for you right now. Even though we have amazing deals, we have great discounted properties, the short-term rental market is not having the best time. Tulum was really, really popular 4 or 5 years ago, and actually during the COVID, during the pandemic, that was the actual hype of Tulum. So thousands of people were coming here, enjoying. A lot of solo travelers, a lot of digital nomads were coming here. So they established here for a couple of months, and then we have a huge demand for short-term rentals, including studios. Studios were doing 15% ROI. And now we have thousands of studios that are empty without receiving any income. So you gotta be really, really cautious, not run yourself by emotions, run yourself by numbers as well, okay? That's very important. So if you decide to do short-term rentals, we can expect to have between a 7 to 10% ROI. I'm having some properties which are already performing well on an Airbnb, and the moment you are acquiring it, you are having all of the reservation already into your account. So we have Airbnb rental properties ready, and we also have the long-term rentals. In a long-term rental, it will depend on what's the location. For example, Playa del Carmen, which is a more mature city, as well with Cancun, you're gonna expect to have a short, long-term rental ROI between 6 to 10%. And trust me, I have some 10% ROI properties that are performing better in long-term rental than in short-term rental. So based on this, that's one number that you need to consider, the ROI based on rentals. Also, we have the appreciation, which I was telling you, it's around 13% every year. So if you are doing the compound of your investments, you're gonna have about, let's say, 8% ROI plus another, let's say, 10% to be conservative on appreciation. So that means 18% of your money. Where are you gonna have that? No bank is gonna give you that money. No investment is gonna give you that money. And real estate is a solid asset. So that's what you need to consider. Here we have another question from our followers. So how safe is to invest in pre-construction projects in Tulum or Playa del Carmen? Okay, tricky question. Pre-construction projects, not only in Mexico, but all the world, it's been tough times for some investors. Here the key is to do the proper due diligence. How are you gonna do a due diligence if you don't know the market? That's what I was telling you. Always work with a professional realtor. Work with a professional attorney. Those are your key team in here. So if you have people that are gonna support you, everything is gonna be more easy. Just to give you an idea, in Riviera Maya, specifically in the Tulum area, we have 400 projects going on. And trust me, I don't even promote more than 10%, not even 40. So I really consider who is this developer, what he has done. I need them to have at least 200 units already delivered so we can go check it out. And even though if you have that, you don't stop there. You need to do a proper due diligence on the legal aspect. Let me see the land, the ownership of the project, the actual permits of the construction, and go ask to other owners of previous project. That will give you a really good understanding. And it's very important to choose a reputable developer. So, for example, I have people that they invested here without knowing the market, without coming to see anything. And sadly, there are some cases where the people invested and they don't have even an idea of what's going on with their money. So there are really, really sad cases. And that's why you need to consider who are you working with. Work with professionals and not guide yourself only by emotions. That's very important. Here we have another question from our followers. So what are the closing costs and ongoing fees for buying in Mexico? Very important question. So, okay, basically the closing costs here in Riviera Maya, let me tell you, we are in the most expensive market for closing costs. You're gonna expect to have 6 to 8% on the closing cost. That's based on the purchase price. So once you have this in mind, you need to consider, if you are a foreigner, then you're gonna add on top of that the yearly fees of the bank trust, which is gonna be $400, $500, and that's also on top of mine. Property taxes, property taxes is very low if you compare it to the Canadian market or the American market. Just to give you an idea, a $200,000 property is gonna cost you about $300 every year for property taxes. So you don't need to consider a lot of that. Actually, your most expensive expenses is gonna be actually the HOA. So the HOA is gonna be fluctuating between $2 to $3 per square meter. So a $100 square meter condo is gonna cost you approximately $200 a month. And that will include all of the maintenance of common areas, security, cleaning. If you have pools, it's gonna be all covered. So you don't need to worry about anything, just your expenses on your private unit. So that's it for today. I am really excited to start this journey together and show you how you can benefit in this amazing market. And trust me, it's not only about the money. The ROI, you need also to consider that the ROI sometimes is just peace, is relaxing, is ocean breeze. It's not only about the money, but trust me, you will also have it. So now click the link in the description and I will share you my free guide so you can know what's going on with the Riviera Maya investing, and also you can make a free one-on-one consultation with me, and let's start in this journey together. Thank you very much for being here, and I'm really happy and excited to start this together. See you next time.